Well, we're here in the parking lot outside of Charles Schwab Field where Kentucky season just came to an end, 15-4 loss to Florida. Really bad way to end a phenomenal season, but there's no hate I don't see. It's just a lot of kind of sadness and reflectiveness and some happiness because this is the foundation to kind of build this program on. Not the way you'd want to go out. I mean, UK takes an early lead and we're like, okay, like maybe we could get a game tonight and get a chance to play tomorrow, but man, Florida comes out and puts seven on the board in the first, and Kentucky automatically in that 6-run hole, and it doesn't help when Florida's offense is really going at the right time, which it is right now, and Brody Donay highlights that inning with the grand slam, and that's the guy that he was jawing with O'Brien back in that series in Gainesville, and he's the guy that hits it off of O'Brien. So
did you think that was out initially off the bat? Because I certainly didn't.
I mean,
the wind's blowing out a little bit.
That one was kind of a line drive to right, but that one he hit later in the game, the solo shot down the third base line was just it was up there with the home run that Costas hit in the SEC tournament this year, like absolute moonshot. As soon as you hit it, you're like, my goodness. But UK, their season comes to an end. 46 wins, the most in program history. 22 SEC wins, the most in program history. Well, what else? What other accolades? Co-SEC champions, regular season champions for the first time in history. They made the College World Series for the first time, won a Super Regional for the first time, won a game in the College World Series for the first time. Just a really, really historic season that there's nothing to hang your hats on.
Yeah, no reason to hang your head. Kentucky baseball made it to the College World Series. We are in Omaha, Nebraska right now.
For a little longer.
To watch Kentucky play baseball. That was awesome. Let me just say, not just talking about Kentucky, that was an awesome experience.
Yeah.
This was so cool. I've always wanted to be here. I've always wanted to see it. And I said I wouldn't really go. I don't want to go if Kentucky it doesn't go. So now I got a chance to see the Cats play at Charles Schwab Field here in Omaha. That was so much fun. Wish it would have lasted a little bit longer. That was one of the more sad post-game experiences that I have experienced. The dugout, obviously very emotional. Players meeting with their parents at the end of the game was very emotional. But like you said, no reason to really hang your head. If you're a Kentucky fan, this is the opportunity right now. This is the chance for this program to grow, continue this momentum going into next season. And I know you're going to talk a little bit more about that on the Batcat beat.
Yeah.
A little postseason wrap up.
Yeah. It's time to hit the portal, which they've proven that they can really do. And just think about the guys that they brought in out of the portal that really contributed in their one and only year in Lexington. Ryan Nicholson tied the most home runs ever hit.
What a season for
at
him,
Kentucky.
Man.
What a season! A guy who hit just one in their first 20 games. I believe it was either 16 or 20. One home run ends up with 23 over the final however many.
And two of them here in Omaha.
Two of them here in Omaha. He homered in, I believe it's like now 5. I guess they played 8 or 9 NCAA tournament games, and he homered in 5 of those games. So great season from him. Mitch Daly delivers the biggest moment in Kentucky baseball history with that walk-off grand slam, or walk-off solo shot. I was thinking about the Donay grand slam.
I know. It's still in my mind too.
Against NC State, and just so many guys, O'Brien and Hummel, and man, it's going to be a whole new team next year, but man, it's gonna be good to look back on. This might be the season that we look back on in 5 or 10 years when UK's been here maybe 2 or 3 more times, and you're like, this was the benchmark and the launching point for that start.
And one more thing, just about Ryan Nicholson, because I don't want his home run to be forgotten. The one he hit against NC State, that is it's probably the second biggest swing. Yeah. Arguably, though, you could say it's the biggest, because if he doesn't hit that, we never get to the walk-off. Yeah. Mitchell Daly's walk-off in the bottom of the 10th. So that's one of the biggest moments in Kentucky athletics history, and I hope that when we remember this run, because we're always going to remember what happened in the 10th. Yep. That moment is etched in history for Kentucky, just like this team. But that moment in particular, I don't want people to overlook the one we got in the bottom half of the inning with Ryan Nicholson, because that was a huge swing, and that's kind of what I take from this, Daniel. I mean, I really wanted a shot at the finals. I just believe Tennessee's going to be there. Yeah. So I really wanted that. I wanted it so bad. I wanted Kentucky versus Tennessee. It would have been just that was the goal. I mean, you were the 2 seed. I'm not like terribly disappointed, but at the same time, they were the 2 seed and they went 1 and 2. That is actually disappointing, but we're seeing it through this lens of we've never been here before, and this was a brand new experience. So while I don't want to say there's, we said it in the last show that we're not taking moral victories away from this, but at the same time, that moment, that walk-off home run in the 10th, just the way they won that game, that is like that's a taking off point for this program and it leaves fans hungry. They want to we want to be back. I saw a story where a family drove overnight to be here for today's game, and that it was disappointing. I mean, they just ran into a buzzsaw with Florida today. I mean, the bats were on fire for them. There's not a whole lot of going through this game that you can say too much about. It was an ass kicking. I mean, that's just what it was. And Kentucky was in a situation where they had two really good pitchers, and then past that, it was kind of a toss-up. You had said you wanted to see a bullpen game. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, maybe just this was Florida's day too. I mean, it could have just been that.
Yeah, Nyman starting was definitely, I mean, I thought it was going to happen. I wasn't surprised. But when he only lasts a third of an inning and you're going to the bullpen already down 3 runs with 2 more guys already on base, might have probably done that. But like I keep saying, I'm not going to question Nick, Coach of the Year. Amazing year coaching from him. Even made the lineup change today.
He did. I got to give him a lot of credit for that, actually, because I didn't think he was going to do it. And it made a ton of sense to make that change and move Nicholson up. Yeah. And he got a good piece of the ball, I think his first time up. Nicholson, am I remembering that correctly? So, but again, there was just, they got cold, the bats got cold at the worst time. I mean, the offense was rolling all year. Yeah. And then what was the output in this tournament they had? I mean, really, for as much as Kentucky played small ball, they didn't score hardly any runs that way in this tournament. It was mostly the long ball that was getting them on the board. Yeah, that's what I wanted to touch on. I know that some guys like Ryan Waldschmidt, Devin Burks, Grant Smith were not great at the end of the season, but I don't want that to overshadow just what they've done at UK. Good point. Ryan Waldschmidt was phenomenal all season long. I believe he made third-team All-American in one publication, second-team SEC, which I thought he should have been first-team SEC. Grant Smith, the Gold Glove runner-up last year, amazing plays after amazing plays. This season, he had the one in the Indiana State game, and just countless. And Devin Burks, that guy, I mean, he won the Mr. Wildcat Award at the Catspies. There's no one that I've met that even represents being a Kentucky Wildcat better than him. His leadership, his mentality, just everything about him. And just because maybe they weren't playing their best towards the end of the season, I don't want that to overshadow their careers. So a lot of really great guys that were on this team. And you could tell Mingione's going to miss him. Yeah. I mean, he's going to miss this group. He was pretty tore up in the postgame. Like I said, very emotional postgame down on the field with the players. They're hurting. And I know you can just see it, like that they love being a part of this program. They love being a part of this team. Devin Burks was somebody who was, he was sitting at the bench in the dugout, just taking it in for the last time. He could come back though, right? So it sucks, but at the same time, I think these guys will, once that initial pain of losing today kind of wears off, they're going to look back at this and they made Kentucky history. Mingione mentioned it. That's kind of a tough thing to say. Mingione mentioned it several times in the post game that this team made history. This is a historic Kentucky baseball club. Yeah, they were winners and they were dogs. Yes. That's his 2 favorite words to describe them. I'll describe them as that: winners and dogs. 46 wins, never done before in UK history. 22 SEC wins, never done before. A really special season, and I'm proud of everything that they've accomplished. I'm proud of everything we accomplished. The Batcat beat up and running now, so the first season of that was a success. Just everything throughout this whole season was great to see, and it's been great to see the fan support for UK baseball expand, and hopefully it expands even further next year, where they keep breaking those attendance records, bring in another set of stands, maybe in right field, and it's been good. The park can keep expanding, I guess. We almost needed it. I guess we did need it because everything was a sellout past the regionals, right? So what a year! What a freaking year! Yep. This was fun. Maybe not the way they wanted to end it, but nothing to hang the heads about. But we'll get out of here. Stephen Peak, Daniel Hager. I guess we're signing out from Omaha. And what's that? We got football season next. So. We got the basketball tournament, TBT, coming up, and then we got football. But we'll get out of here. Great season, and from Kentucky baseball, we'll see you all next year.